Something that I was thinking about is whenever you're trying to become a different version of yourself and you start the year with all these goals and all these New Year resolutions, and you spend at least the first 2 months trying to do every single thing and make sure that you touch every single thing, so when eventually you look up and it's like you've done nothing, like you have done absolutely nothing, and you're already 2 months into the year and you feel like the year is gonna go exactly how it went last year. And it's like, in reality, you don't have to do everything in 1 month. Like, there's 12 months for a reason. And I feel like if we didn't make these grand goals at the beginning of the year, then maybe a lot of us will see some kind of progression as the year takes on. So what I came across was, and then there's also people who breaks them down in quarters, which that's what, 3 months, 4 months, and you're trying to do again 5 or 6 things in 1 month. And you got to stop and rate your progress and do this, and it's like, okay, so now what you didn't do first quarter, you have to now make a decision. Okay, am I going to keep doing this, or am I just going to scratch that and start over with second and start fresh with second quarter goals? And it's like, okay, so what are you and when are you going to do the first quarter goals? And you get what I'm saying? So it's a repeated cycle that may look like it's working, but in reality you're really not doing anything. So what I was thinking about was just making one goal a month. Make a theme with your goal, and if it's to buy a car for the month of August, everything that you do for the month of August should go towards something dealing with buying a car. Whether it's going to look at cars, whether it's going to narrow down what kind of car you want, to trade your car or to upgrade your car or to whatever it is, you need to do something every single day that's geared towards buying that car. So that way, if your goal is by the end of August to buy a car, by the end of August, you should have bought a car if you've done everything that you set out that you were going to do for that 1 month. So that way, your attention is only on that one thing, and it's not trying to buy a car, trying to save for this, trying to go this, trying to do that, all in between, still having the current, life things that you have to do, your life responsibilities, if it's kids or, even work and keeping up with house chores and, getting the kids back and forth to school and school lunches and this and that. You get what I'm saying? You just only have one other thing to do versus having to buy a car, having to, whatever your other goals is that you want to complete for the year. You don't have to necessarily have to do everything at once. And I feel like if more people kind of adapted to that method, then it depression really, will be not at an all-time low, but you should see some kind of, decrease in depression, because I feel like that's why a lot of people are, depressed or, lost when it comes to not goal setting, is because they're trying to do everything at once. And it's like, that's impossible. That's impossible whether you're a 9 to 5 or an entrepreneur. It's impossible to get every single thing done at once without feeling like you're not doing anything. And I hope there's somebody out there that's listening that agrees, because I know there's going to be someone that's saying like, you get 24 hours. Everybody get the same 24 hours. Granted, yes, everybody gets the same 24 hours, but everyone plans their 24 hours completely different. Like a millionaire can say, okay, well, I did 2 things today and made $1 million, right? And a regular person can say, you know, I I put up the laundry today and feel like they got so much done for that day. Because everybody is different. Like everybody is don't think the same, and if everybody did, then I don't know how the world will look. But like everybody get the same 24 hours, yeah, but everybody uses their 24 hours different. And I feel like depression will definitely have some kind of impact if people were to tailor their goals and their progress by doing one thing a month. And think about it, if you actually are able to do and being realistic, with your goals. If you ain't in no shape or no predicament to buy a car at the end of the month, don't set unrealistic goals either. Set something that you would be able to physically see that you met that goal. And prioritize too, because that will teach people how to prioritize, like what's actually out of everything that I have going on right now, what actually what is it that I need to do, or what is it that I need to be doing, so that way I'm actually being productive and I'm actually meeting goals and doing things that are supposed to push me forward and not hinder me back. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it setting those, having those goals and making them realistic and things like that. I feel like, just think about it, if you were to really set one different goal for each month of the year, that's 12 goals that you have done in 365 days. That is 12. And even if you do 6 of them, and that's 6 out of 12, that's half the year that you were able to show that if I really buckle down and do this, I can really do this. And even if you were to get 2 months out of it, it's really hard to keep a habit going. It's really hard to, keep at it and keep, being motivated longer than 7 days, longer than 30 days. So if you can manage to get 2 months out of the 12, that's good. Any progress is better than just continuing to restart the cycle each year and wonder why things aren't getting done, and feeling like you're being punished. It's set a theme for the month. If August is credit month, work on your credit. There's something you can do every single day that'll get you to where you want to be if you just sit down and focus on that one thing in your free time. And if your free time is only 5 minutes a day, 5 times how many ever minutes it is in 30 days, you do the math and see how far you gonna get. You gonna get something done. 5 minutes may not seem like a lot, but once you do that math, you're going to see how many minutes it comes to, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of minutes. Absolutely. Don't feel like you have to set aside 10 hours out of your day to work on your credit to be able to finance a house or a car or whatever it is that you want. If you just give one goal, one thing, something of your time throughout the day, because just think about it. If you sit down for, say you be like, all right, I only got 5 minutes to work on my credit. You sit down, and by the time you really get into it, it's done been 30 minutes. And you like, oh, dang, I done got a lot done. Exactly. Because when you start it and you get into it and you see how much you're learning and how much you're doing and how much easier it was, you're going to be able to knock it out. Because you did it for 30 minutes this time. The next time, you might just need to spend an hour on it, and you might just be completely done with that. And you able to go on to the next step. So time management and choosing what you want to do instead of, just letting time go by and being like, well, I'm too busy and I can't do this, and the 5 minutes I do get, I just need to take a break and rest. Okay, do that. Rest and just Google some credit information. Cause you 9 times out of 10 on your phone anyway. So just make your phone time useful in a sense. Rest and scroll. If that's something that's going to help. But definitely time management and choosing, because it's just like me with this podcast. I'm saying like, oh, I really want to get my podcast out there, but if I don't record no episodes, then my podcast not gonna get out there. And if I don't have things to talk about, because believe it or not, y'all, I talk to myself a lot. And it may sound crazy, but I talk to myself a lot. And a lot of those conversations, I think about like, I should have just got my laptop out and just started recording. Like this one right here. I was sitting on the porch and I was about to start talking I was talking out loud about something. And I was like, I said something and I said, let me go get my laptop and record this. I said, this could be a podcast because it really can. Like the conversations that I have with myself is pretty much everything that I was just saying just now. And I'm like, you can just make a theme. Like, because I was praying about how I want my August to go, right? And I was like, yeah, because if I do this and I'll be able to do this and do this, and I'm already in September and October. And it's like, girl, focus on August. So then I was like, okay, so what about if I just make a theme and August is just surrounded by this one thing? And then I stopped talking and I was like, this got to be a podcast. This got to be a podcast. And this is what I pretty much wanted to say to y'all was just make it a theme. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. And, before you do it, prioritize the things that you want to accomplish for the month of August. And, if it's 5 or 6 goals, nope. Write those goals down and revisit it for September. Because then you'll have something that you can go back and look on, and because of how things happen in August, you may not even have to do those other goals. So if you write those goals down and you choose one for August, keep those goals that you don't use, and come September 1st, you pull out, you make a list of your new goals based off of what happened in August, and see on your old goals if there's anything that you just like, yeah, it's no need to continue to make this a goal because I don't need it. You get what I'm saying? That's reflection, because it's like, okay, when I now have something to look back on to say, okay, I was in this situation, but now since I'm in this situation, I don't need this anymore. So therefore, I don't need to continue to make this a goal or this a part of my life because it no longer serves me purpose. Oh my God. What? What? Did you hear what I just said? All right. I gotta go. I gotta go. All right, y'all. I ain't even do no intro. I ain't even do nothing. I just went in straight talking. But okay, y'all, I got to go because what? I hope y'all play that part back. I hope that part hit y'all the way it hit me when I was saying it because we know who was saying that, right? Who was saying that? Won't me saying that. We all know that won't nobody but God that said that, okay? Because I needed to hear that, and I hope somebody's listening had needed to hear that because what? All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day.